post-war is going to be the first election unilaterally handled by the Liberian security sector after the unmilled drawdown. So it's very important for us that we get to understand how it's being conducted. These people have been peaceful over the years. How have they done it? So we're here to work closely with the Ghana Police Service to see the implementation of their good plan that I believe is already being rolled out and ready to take this day peacefully when it comes.
And I'm told that you and your team are very popular in Liberia, and you've been able to deal with, these motorbike menace. How were you able to deal with it?
That was a political situation like most other law enforcement engagement, but persistent. The dedication of the officers and continuous engagement. We've been able to gain a lot of success. There's been setbacks due to the politics, but I mean, we separated it and we've continued to persevere on them. We have no-go zones, but now we have an emerging issue, the tricycle, which is what we also have to start to deal with as well. But I think more to the success of that is the ability of the officers to serve amidst all of the many constraints that we have as a police service.
How were they able to go about it? We want to learn from you. Since you're coming to learn from Ghana, we also would want to learn. That's also a menace in this country. Okay. Specifically, how were you able to deal with it?
So when we started to engage the motorcycle issue, we were engaging it from a point that it was public safety issue. We looked at the number of accidents, we went back to the records, we took the stats. It was just increasing on how many deaths there were related to motorcycle. So we engage it as just a public safety issue, but little did we know that there were other effects. So how we started, we imposed a 10 o'clock curfew on the movement of motorcycle. When that was imposed, immediately there was a stark decrease in criminal activities. So with that, then we came up and started to restrict their movement. We have go zone and no go zone. So after that was done, it started to bring them down, and we had our own days. We had our rough days. We had days that there were exchanges with the motorcycle and the police, but we remain the police. We're law enforcers. We remain within the confines of the law and continue to enforce, and that's how we were able to get through that.
If allowed and checked, could they pose any security threat, particularly during an election?
Yes, 100%. Vulnerability is an issue. Most of the guys who are riding these motorcycles, they're between employable and almost unemployable youth. We talk about youth unemployment, but there are some youth that are just unemployable. So, I mean, they see this as a means of, some of them see it as a goodwill to be able to fend for their family. Some of them see it as a means to carry out criminal activities, and they're so vulnerable and gullible that they're easily persuaded. So in our plans, we've looked at them as a part of the stakeholders. So there's a lot of effort going towards engaging this group, trying to bridge the gap between they and the police, informing them of their civic responsibility, informing them of the need not to be used by people who have their own agenda. I mean, just for a couple of days, and then the next thing you have a lifetime of pain. This sub-region, peace in this sub-region is very, very crucial and important to us all. Not just the absence of violence, but I mean the burden that it poses on the economy within the region. Because if there's war in Liberia and there's some unrest, we are going to come to Ghana, we're going to go to Cote d'Ivoire, we're going to go all over, and it's going to be a burden for the already struggling economy. So the preservation of the peace and the respect of the democracy all over is very, very key to us all. And we're here to also just extend our word to the people of Ghana to let them know that we respect you all, and we know that you've done it before and you're going to do it again. So we're just here to learn from them and take the message back home, because we believe that you all are peace-loving people, and you are going to uphold those values and respect and preserve the democracy here.
But while you're here to learn from us, we can also learn from you. So on election day, for instance, if you have these motorbikes, being ridden about recklessly, how do you advise the police deals with such a situation?
Well, there had to have been a long-term plan in place in dealing with this before tomorrow. You cannot come up really today and say this is what's going to happen tomorrow. So I'll expect that the movement, there should be somewhere in the plan that will dictate how they're going to operate tomorrow, and not in droves as they usually do, and then cause chaos. So as part of our plan, there's going to be further restriction, especially around the campaign season. You're not going to breach the no-go zone, which will be areas that people will want to go and campaign, wishing that they could have these motorcycles in huge numbers following them. So there will be restrictions put in place before time, and it's my hope that it has been done here as well, because they're easily violent. I mean, they can just go violent with one telephone call, one text message. I mean, people do not try to even find out what the facts are. Once they hear it, I mean, they just go for it because it's already there, and they're just looking for something to spark it.
Well, of course, there's a plan, and we've been told that they're not allowed, within a certain meters radius of the polling centers. But
Excellent.
Yes, but you come from a country which has been engulfed in conflict and violence. Tell us how it feels like when, a process like democracy, many of us take for granted, is supplanted by guns and conflict.
Well, that is never a way forward, regardless of how different we may feel about how we're governed. The fact of the matter is, it always comes back to some form of dialogue, and it ends up through negotiation. Liberia yesterday was like the light in the sub-region. A lot of people, Ghanaians, people from all over Africa went to Liberia. As a result of the violence, we are years behind. Now we look to Ghana. We're here to also share with you all that it costs us very dearly. We can't even begin to factor how much it destroyed us.
Share some of it with us. Let's understand how it's cost you as we get ready for the elections.
Okay, let's take it down to the fabric of the society. Let's go to the family. The family is that root, is the fundamental pillar of the society. The first thing it did, it destroyed the family. It broke the family apart. It tore up the society. And there's just that ripple effect, because once the family is no longer cohesive and it's been torn apart, the structure, the social fabric no longer exists. Goes up to infrastructure, the economy, the overall security, restricts growth and development. It becomes an unsafe place for economic growth. Investors will never want to even look your way. It takes a lot to convince them, and that is why we're taking this upcoming election very, very crucial, very, very serious, because if we are able to transition peacefully after years of violence, we've had the 2005 election, we've had 2011, but we haven't had one government going out of power for another one to come in. So this is a very, very crucial point. And we've, over the years, if you look at the Guinness Book of Records, we are listed there for one of the most rigged elections in the world, and that were years ago. They blame part of it to the security sector. All along history, there's been times that it's stated that the credibility of our part in the electoral process have not been too good to recount. But we are promising Liberian people this time around, for the first time unilaterally, the security sector is going to handle this election, and our integrity is going to be quite unquestionable. Our performance is going to be impeccable.
What would you expect the security service to play tomorrow in the election?
Well, the police is the lead agency, and all other members of the joint security will be supporting the police, carrying out police functions and other functions within this process. To the police, be the police. Non-partisan, be as neutral, as transparent as you can be, accessible to all, and deliver those services that the Ghanaian people so deserve from a police service. And I have no doubt in this current administration that they are able to produce that, because I believe over the years their track record has spoken for itself, and this process will just be added to history, that they've once again performed beyond expectation. My thinking is that the Ghana Police Service is one of the best in this sub-region. The overall performance, their contribution to the respect for democracy in other countries, specifically in my own beloved country, Liberia, Ghana has played a role that we can never ever forget. We're tied to each other. We're one family, we're one people. We appreciate everything that you all Ghanaians, because it's not just the police, it's the families that the police leave behind when they go to serve. It's the financing of the people, the taxpayers, and everything. So, in a nutshell, the people of Ghana, we say thank you, we believe in you, and we know you're going to take this process as peaceful as possible. And
so even Liberia, for instance, and you had some, security personnel engaging in, acts of argument and, violence with election officers. How would you deal with that?
Well, we've gone back to the last 4 elections that we've had. We've drawn lessons from there. We've looked at other elections from around the world. We've drawn good practices from there. So what we've even done is to ensure that the police remain non-partisan. We've put measures in place. We've got standing operation procedures as to what your involvement and engagement can be. So I won't even expect that it will reach to that, but just in case it did happen, there will be serious, very, very serious repercussion, because it then dampens the integrity of the police in performing that role of election security. It questions their overall ability to handle it. So, I mean, when there's an issue of such, you cannot fend for all the officers at once. There will always be bad apples, but how you plug them out immediately when they're proven to be a bad apple that could question the integrity of the service is what exactly matters. So if it does happen, I would expect that the IGP here would take some stringent measures against whoever does it, because if it happened in Liberia, you will be dealt with.
If it had happened in Liberia, what would have been the repercussions on that person?
Immediate dismissal.
Immediate dismissal?
Immediate dismissal, because it's already clear. We've come up with standing operating procedures. You do not get involved in the process at all. Your role is to be the police, be security. That's what you're there for. That's your component. Deal with your component and deal with it very well. Because the thing is, it's fragile. The people, for Liberia, the people, they're like very edgy. The people want to believe that we have to win, and not the probability that I could win or lose. So when they come with that tendency, they're looking for anything. I mean, just the little to cause some level of violence. So if it comes from a security officer, it provokes violence to a level. So you want to avoid that to the best of your ability.
And so in Ghana, where you have police officers, where you have security personnel, engaging in exchanges with election officials on special voting, some of them actually vandalizing some election materials. If you were to advise the IGP, you would say he does what?
Well, the IGP is well experienced. I can tell you that. I'm his junior. I'm here to draw lessons from him. I'm here to learn from him. Trust me, the IGP knows exactly what to do with them. And if there's an occurrence of such, trust me, he's going to deal with it decisively.
You said if it were in Liberia, you would have dismissed that officer.
Definitely, because it said in my
procedures. Is it the same advice?
It said in my procedures. I do not know if the IGP has that in his standing operating procedures. So I mean, the procedures that are written in guidelines for various operations. So I don't know what is there right now. So I cannot speak as.
But that should be a possibility.
Well, I mean, the overall integrity of the service matters. So getting to a point where the action of one questions the integrity of all, I mean, there has to be some decisive action. For us, I mean, it's clearly written. You non-partisan, non-political. If you want to run, you come and you tender your resignation. We wholeheartedly accept, and you go and do it. I mean, you cannot have any engagement of such with. So I mean, the IGP, I trust his judgment. Should
that person be deployed on election day?
Well. If it so happens, I mean, if he was deployed, I mean, it could lead.
He was supposed to take part in special voting, and.
Oh, so this is an event that actually happened.
Yes, it happened.
Ah, okay. I see. Now you're dragging me to. Okay. Well.
So now we are there. Now it happened.
Well, okay. With that kind of issue, you have to be very careful as to how you deal with that officer. As a matter of fact, his participation further in the process. I mean, the IG has to deal with it tactically. There has to be tactical retreat for better balance.
Well, Inspector General of Police of the Liberian National Police Force, Greg Colman, thank you very much for joining us. But I'd like you to take a few moments and advise the Ghanaian public ahead of the elections.
Well, to the peace-loving people of Ghana, once again, the price of peace can never be calculated. Peace is not just the absence of war. It's not just the absence of violence. It comes with a lot. It comes at a high price. You all have been there. You've respected the rule of law. You've been law-abiding people. You are at the top in Africa when it comes to the democracy index. Remain there. Go higher. Do everything you can. As you always say, as for we Ghanaians, we are the best. Remain the best. Let's copy from you. Do not let it change this time around. Embrace peace. Respect the rule of law. Let peace prevail here in the sub-region at large. Thank you.
IGP Greg Colman, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
All right, so you heard from the IGP of the Liberian National Police Force, Greg Colman, joining us this morning on your Election Command Center on TV3, also live on 3FM 92.7 in Accra, and on 95.1 FM in Accra, and live on Connect FM 97.1 in Takoradi.